Remember, readability and legibility are not the same thing. You may be able to read something because the printing is clear, but legibility is subjective because it may not be able to be understood. If you have directions on, say, a bottle of insecticide, you need to make those instructions clear so someone does not become ill or injured from handling the product incorrectly. Is there an allergen present in a food product? This needs to be properly labeled along with the nutrition facts and the ingredients and directions for use. Labeling and packaging does not limit itself to the attractive design on the front of the package that makes the product look appealing to the consumer. And while we're talking about the design practices, consider the source of the container. Many companies now are looking into using recycled materials, non-toxic processes, eliminating plastics. You may be concerned about the production of a particular product line. I attended a conference where the CEO of a company talked about going to factories in China to look at the manufacturing of the aluminum bottle he was considering using. He found that the working conditions were unacceptable. He talked about workers in and near the forges without protective clothing or protective footwear. Foreign companies do not have OSHA standards. Although this company was more affordable, he opted to select a company with a higher safety record for their workers, even though the product was going to cost him more. So with so many brands on a store shelf, how will the shopper find a particular one? A package design needs to be interesting enough for someone to notice it, and when someone notices a package, he or she also is considering other products in the same category on the same shelf or in the same aisle, and allowing roughly 20 seconds to consider all. If a package design holds the person's interest, the shopper begins to scan it for information. Many eye-tracking studies have been conducted on how people read a package. A clear visual hierarchy with a dominant image or typographic treatment as the main entry point will draw you into the composition. Then your eyes will go to the next element of emphasis in hierarchical order, and so on. Orchestrating flow and rhythm will aid the composition and hierarchy. The clearer the cues and the more coherent the organization, the easier it will be to read the composition. Psychologically, people tend to be attracted most by imagery. Package design is a merging of 2- and 3-dimensional design, promotional design, information design, and package engineering. The casing aspect of package design is 3-dimensional. It's the structural design. It is a form. Think carton or bottle or can, jar, wrapper, bag. It's made out of a material, glass, metal, plastic, paper, and so on, possibly involving special finishes. Your project may require designing a new structural form or be for an existing form like a soda can. On the shelf or screen, packaging is seen from a frontal or 2D point of view. Once held in someone's hand, the entire form counts. When designing the graphics, all the type and the images, consider all the surfaces and the sides. Environmental context must be taken into account, like light falling on the package's form in a certain setting. As with any design, it is best practice to solve the graphics and structural form design aspects at the same time, which would make for the most organic solution. Does information or imagery go across panels? Can you create any visual connections among the panels' planes of the 3-dimensional form? The design is based on a concept. You may have to determine how your design concept will work for an entire line of products and how you can differentiate the products, like a line of shampoos and conditioners and body wash, and make their functions clear through the type, the color, and the cues. Create visual interest and make sure they are unified as a series. All visual communication professionals should make an earnest attempt to practice sustainable design, design that incorporates environmental matters. We utilize a variety of materials to manufacture packaging, which warrants investigating how materials and processes impact the environment and troubleshooting for potential hazards and wastefulness. Consider how materials affect the environment, deplete, pollute, add unnecessary refuse. We can make choices to use environmentally friendlier materials and inks, as well as encourage clients to reduce packaging materials to essentials only. We aren't using the CDs, but we still need to design the cover art so that it's grabbing people In 2016, a survey found 75% of respondents used CDs in their cars. In 2017, only 38% of music played in cars was still on CD. You can't get CDs at Best Buy anymore, but CD sales were still 33% of consumption a few years ago. Vinyl is expensive, and although the sound is better, not everyone has a turntable, and you're certainly not going to have one in your car. Indie music has a thriving CD business. Bands on tours sell CDs. I know a lot of what we listen to is now streaming, but designs may be what draws in the listener. As with book covers, if you haven't heard the artist before, the cover may draw you in. The design may be what engages the purchaser.